Alrighty, what is going on, ladies and gents? Welcome back to the channel for another market update. Hope everybody is having a lovely day. And with that being said, let's dive into the TA. Guys, we got a big bounce back today, snap back today with the cool CPI report that came in before the open. Things are up quite a bit today, and I do think what happened today kind of shifted a lot of things around here, changed a lot of weekly charts around. I'm going to say from today on into the end of the week, the only thing that's really important is that weekly close. If you close out how we are looking right now, all right, between current prices or higher, things are going to look really good going into the following few weeks there, next 1 to 2 weeks. We have inauguration day coming up next week. Market looks like it's trying to rally into that event. So let's go over things starting with SPY. All right, guys. So over here on SPY, we did rally on up here to the 0.786 fib today. You did reject 593.60 resistance right there. If you can get over 594.50, you are probably going to start coming up towards 599.70. All right, so above 594.50, you have 597.75, and then 599.70. Above there, you have 602.13, and then you are, knocking on the door for all-time highs. Okay, on the downside is your support. You have 591.04. Underneath there, you're going to have today's low, which is going to come in at 589.20. Underneath there, you have 586.12. Okay, guys, so ideally, we're going to come up here and take out this 599.70 high. That is the last swing high here on the daily time frame. If you can take that out, that is when things start to shift back to bullish. Or, from there, you have no trend. But, point is, you're out of this, downtrend. And I've been pointing out, guys, this is controlled selling at that point. I know this thing looks really ugly on the weekly time frame, the candlestick we got last week. But, at the end of the day, we need to, be looking at this as like, hey, downside is limited. The market had, this fear and greed index that is still only at 29. Well, this morning, guys, it was at 26. This thing continuously is, staying low, and it's not really getting that relief there. I think this is probably the time where we're going to get that relief. But what's important now is those weekly closes, because, if you can close out the week like this, is kind of turning the chart around here. It's not looking so bad. You held the last swing low. DIA specifically just held on for dear life over here. Like, you close out like that, you have a bullish engulfing candlestick. IWM looks like this. We told you, it's either bottom was in on one of these guys over here, or it's going to be down at 215. Where was the low over here? 213.97. It was a dollar lower. But the fact that IWM is coming up and retesting this high over here, that is good. You have DIA doing the same thing. Okay, you're out of this sideways grind, and you're kind of popping up trying to make a new high over here on DIA. Same thing over here on IWM. Pop back up here. Okay, so now let's go over QQQ. Pointed out, you got this little flag action going on here. If you just take it like that and go like that, and you can, make it look all pretty like that. Okay. You have this like little flag thing going on here. And, again, controlled selling. This is not, impulsive selling where you just take out one of the last, major lows here, like here on the weekly time frame. It's, really, it's sitting all the way down here. This is the last, real low over here. And then, you also have this guy over here. But as you could see, you didn't just fall off a cliff. Like you're having this sideways grind. So this is kind of no surprise. And at some point it was going to snap back. We got, the catalyst to do so today was CPI. You had a cool PPI print yesterday morning, which, that's kind of indicating that we could very likely be getting that cool CPI report. I didn't make a video last night because it got to be around 9 o'clock. And then I was like, at that point, it was like, CPI is either going to gap us down or gap us up. I've been pretty clear with my stance on things. I do think, downside was limited. We probably saw, the low over here on this capitulation day. You had a lot of things that were just, they're looking really good. But then they came back, all right? You had Amazon sitting over here. You're still in a flag over there. You got Google over here. Like, you hit it with the hammer candlestick. You got Microsoft hitting it with hammers down here. All right. You had Apple hit it with a nice hammer candlestick down here. Like, we had a lot of things suggesting we were probably, Meta did not look good. I'm just going to, be clear on that. But we did have a lot of things that were starting to come together here, which told us that, hey, all right, we know downside is limited, and it's looking like things are probably about to start snapping back. And what happens a few days later? Things start really snapping back there. All right. So for support over here on QQQ, we're going to be paying attention to 513.28, 509.29, and 505.71. Under that, you have 501.93. This is where you found buyers over here. On the upside is resistance, guys. We have the same thing as SPY here. We got the golden pocket. All right. You had a little bit more of a drastic move over here on QQQ, on the NASDAQ, on big tech. Than you did over there on the S&P 500. So, we have a little bit more to recover here over here on the NASDAQ. The 0.786 fib is going to be at 521.90. We're just going to say get above 522. You probably are going to start heading up here to 527.92. The resistance is 516.64. 519.65, and then you're paying attention to that 522 spot. That's the 0.786 Fibonacci retracement level. And then you're going to have, I actually don't know where that's coming from. We're going to watch this level right here. You're going to have 522.03. Get above 522.03. You got nothing in between there and 527.92. That is a move that likely takes place. Okay. And then if you get above 527.92, of course, 531.24, you can actually just, look at this full, retracement here. And the 0.786 fib would be right here at 530, 70. So if you get above 531.24 resistance at that point, you're probably going to have a straight shot up here to 539.15, new all-time high incoming. All right, so that is the NASDAQ. Over here, IWM, I already gave my thoughts, guys. All right, but your support is 223.28, 221.38, and 219.60. Your resistance, 224.66 and 226.64. You get above 226.64, you probably start heading towards 230.55. It's pretty obvious here. Things are trying to, make a run for it. You're actually above the daily 21 EMA right here. That is something that, that halted price last time it was tested, and now you're actually getting a close above it. I'd say that is a positive sign. But I think what's really important is that, you made the lower low here, and then you're swinging back up, all in one go for that new high, or for the last, swing high there. That tells you, buyers are starting to step back in here. All right. They're overpowering the sellers on this, most recent move here, and they're coming back into the equation. That is positive. All right. And then also, IWM, they already had the daily RSI having a bullish divergence down here. You hit the golden pocket. We knew downside was limited. We knew this was probably going to mark a bottom, hitting that 215.20 mark at the 0.618 Fibonacci retracement level. You also did have your support sitting down here. I just don't have it on the chart, but that was down there. We're going to actually take off that level, and we will put on that one. There we go. Okay. DIA over here, you also had that bullish divergence going on, and you are snapping back. We knew, buyers had to hold the line. 416.44. You didn't want to break that. You would breaking the last swing low over here on the weekly time frame. That would not have been the best look, but you held on. Okay, you held on. You had the bullish divergence here on the daily RSI. Like I said, guys, everything was kind of coming together. We had signals saying that we were probably about to start snapping back, and we knew downside was limited because, everything was already in extreme fear. You were sitting down at 26 on the fear and greed index for like 3 days in a row. You were probably going to snap back at some point. It just is what it is. 3 trading sessions in a row, I should say. But, same situation on DIA over here as IWM. You're retesting that last swing high above 433.20. You have 438.04 and then 444.87. Your support, guys, 431.42. Underneath there, what do you got? You could be watching right there, 429.32, and then underneath there, you're gonna have 426.56, which actually at that point you're gonna watch this gap 425.51. Okay, so that is DIA. Now, if you guys were paying attention to VIX, then it got killed today. It's down 13.85% on the day. I think it's pretty safe to say VIX did end up getting crushed. Okay, it got that little spike. We said, coming into this week, I did think it was going to end up going higher here. And I was like, oh, I was making fun of the people, you know, who are going to be questioning me like, Henry, you're saying things are going to be going up, like we're about to have this big move up, but you also think things are going to be coming down. Yes. All right. But if you see that move down to start the week, Monday or Tuesday, if you see that capitulation day, that was your chance to buy it for that move up to new highs on many tickers. All the Mag 7s were set up, you know, and now as of today, we are starting to see them really wake up there. You had your buying opportunity. You knew about it if you were watching the weekly update. You know, if you don't tune into the everyday show here, it is very good to, you know, be at least tuning into the weekly update. It is a longer video, but we prepare for everything you really need in those videos to make a decent amount of money, all right, at all times in the market. And I hope you guys are making a decent chunk of change. Hope you guys had a big day. All right, Tesla had a pretty crazy day. Meta was waking up today. It's now back down. Okay, things are having pretty crazy days for Tesla, guys. I do think this thing is it's gonna start getting pretty nuts over here in Tesla. I think we definitely, you know, as of today's move, you had a lot of these weekly charts really turn around here. Okay, let's put this on your radar too. HIMS over here, guys. Really sexy weekly and daily time frame over here. Really sexy. I think this got potential to get back up to the highs. All right, it's looking real nice. All right, but you know, as for the indices, to sum everything up, guys, you know, does this look like something that's going to just bounce back? Probably not. And if you do take out this low, it's finally making a, you know, a lower low there. You had a higher low, you had a higher low, and if you bounce back from right here without taking out 1571, you also have a higher low. You don't want to see the higher low over here. You want to see VIX come underneath 1571. I will put an alert right over here. Okay, and if that gets hit, and guess what? VIX is making a new low, and that means these things are probably going to continue higher. All right, and then, you know, to sum up what you got to be watching out for, you know, SPY over here, just put an alert at 594.50. If that gets hit, you're probably going to start heading up to 599.70. All right. But, you know, overall, things are looking pretty juicy here. And on the weekly charts, they're really getting turned around with this, you know, weekly candlestick we got so far. The important thing is holding on to today's gains into the end of the week. Okay. Over here to Meta, guys. As you can see, you now have a weekly hammer candlestick on this chart on the weekly time frame. But I will point out in the after hours, you're actually all the way back down here to 608. You had a high today of 622. This thing is kind of just, you know, toying with us at this point. But, you know, at some point, this thing is probably still going to pop up to new high here. 640 to 650, all the way up to 660. Probably going to happen, you know. I'm going to say probably still going to happen within like 1 to 2 weeks. You got inauguration day coming up. I do think Tesla, Meta, you know, Amazon are probably going to do, you know, relatively well into those. Those are, you know, people that are going to be supporting him as he goes on up. They're going to be, you know, watching there. Okay. And it's going to be live. So I assume, you know, they already have been talking to President Trump, and they have, you know, they're probably going to be doing pretty good. Okay. So if stocks are going to get hyped up, I think it's probably going to be Amazon. I think this is a pretty sick look to it right now. It's probably going to be Meta. All right. But more specifically over everything else right now, and I think this should be the focus right now, is Tesla. Okay. I think Tesla's probably going to wind up at new highs by next week with how this thing is looking. This is absolutely insane. You know, I was waiting for it to turn around. I knew it was going to probably just magically happen one of these days. Well, that kind of happened with CPI today. Clearly showing relative strength compared to the rest of the market, up 8%, while everything is not, you know, even close to up 8%. Other Mag 7 stocks are up anywhere from 2 to 4% today. And then Tesla is just up 8% right there. This is a $1.5 trillion company, $1.37 trillion company. That's pretty crazy. That is moving like this. But, you know, it did take out this high over here. So I personally do think this thing is probably going to start moving up towards 465.33 in the short term. All right. So let's just, you know, come over here, do some little charting. Okay, guys. So, you know, just take the measure move from here to here. All right. That's $49. You see that? All right. Well, we'll just kind of leave that here for now. I'm going to hit shift, and we'll drag that over there, get another $49 on the table there. Okay, we're going to just say 475. That is the target here. Okay. I'm gonna just go like that. Go like 475 there. Okay. Make it a gray line there. Okay, that is the target here for this double bottom, this ugly double bottom formation we have. You're just breaking out today above 426.43. All right, so in the short term, I do think you're going to make your way into this golden pocket here, but I think this double bottom alone has what it takes to bring you up to 475 there. That is just the measure move of taking this leg down or up to the neckline over here, and you just pop your head above that today. I think that is the move that we're about to see, and at that point, you're going to make new highs. All right. TSLL, that is something you could be, taking advantage if you would like over here. I do think this thing, options at least, I was looking at them today. They will be moving more over here in TSLL. Nonetheless, both of them should be moving very well. You can clearly see what I'm looking at over here in Tesla. All right. Touch point, touch point, touch point. You could also see it here on the 4-hour time frame. Touch point. You didn't necessarily touch it right there, but it is what it is. Okay, it is what it is. Nonetheless, guys, I think Tesla's probably going to outperform everything. Just like we nailed it over here, I do think we're probably going to start that second move right over here. Okay, from over here to Apple, guys, weekly time frame. You're setting up with the weekly hammer candlestick. All right, you're finding buyers here on the weekly 21 EMA, break and retest zone over here in the golden pocket for this whole most recent move. Daily RSI got down to where we have been seeing it bounce back from the last few times over here. And even if it was to go a little bit lower, price was to go a little bit lower, it was going to be down here. This day right here, guys, when you were at the low, you got a little bit lower over here. If you had just even moved like, $2 or $3 more down, you're going to be at 30 on the daily RSI. We knew downside was limited. When I say downside is limited, that's exactly what I mean. It's probably not going much lower. It's kind of safe to start buying it. All right, buy with time. I don't condone short-term options trading. I don't think it's a winning game. And I don't think you're going to, win in the long run with it. You could very easily just, continuously make money on the swings on the Mag 7 stocks and the indices if you just, play with 2 to 3 months of time on your call and put contracts. You can continuously swing the indices and these Mag 7 stocks in, with a lot of accuracy, but you add short-term trading into the mix and you're probably not going to have a good time. All right. Apple over here, guys, we knew to, where to be looking for buyers, start stepping in between here and over here. They did go a little bit lower, but in the end, you did pop back up from the golden pocket. And, as you can see, you have the short-term moving averages here. I'd say wait for a 241.75 to be taken out, and from there you probably are going to start actually recovering over here, coming up to 247.33 247.33 probably in the short term. All right, but the real thing that we should be focusing over here when it comes to Apple is this weekly chart with how this thing is shaping up. Okay, and also we have the weekly 21 sitting right here, so we know this in between right here and right here, this is where we're looking for buyers in that breakout zone. Okay, guys, so that is Apple. Moving over here to Amazon, guys. We've been talking about the, this weekly flag. Worst case scenario is going to come down to 210. You have the weekly 21 EMA sitting right there. You have the 0.618 fib from this most recent advance right there. So that would have been a full, golden pocket retracement of this most recent move. But guess what? That didn't happen. We knew it was either going to happen here at 215.90 or 210. So 210 to 215.90 was your buy zone. All right, where was the low, you ask, guys? It was at 216.20. Okay, they missed it by 30 cents or level over here. That was the breakout level. You had the weekly 9 EMA sitting right there as well. You have been flagging here. This thing looks like it's probably going to wind up at new highs over the coming 1 to 2 weeks. If you can close out with this weekly candlestick, this is a really clean look to it. And I think this is going to wind up at new highs. Okay. Goog. This is another thing that I think has a really clean look on the weekly time frame. All right, there's one, on the weekly update. That's what I was saying, guys. You have everything you need to make money in this market on a consistent basis. Just trading the Mag 7 stocks and the indices and the semiconductors, if you would like. You have everything you need, guys. Everything you need. Over here, guys, Goog, the thing had a clean break and retest. You have buyers here. You have buyers here. You have buyers here. This is the third test here on the weekly chart. You're getting buyers at the previous all-time high at that breakout zone. You know, this thing, if you take out 198.16 here, okay, this is where you're getting sellers. I want to see a daily close above that level. At the point, you're probably going to start making your way up to 202.88 over the next 1 to 2 trading sessions. You clearly just see on the weekly chart, this is what's important, okay? You had reversion to the mean, pulled back to the weekly 9. Just like how Amazon pulled back after that new all-time high over here. Okay, and you know, this whole thing over here, guys, you know, you popped up to an all-time high. You know, this next sell over here is going to be your buying opportunity for that, you know, next move. Well, that's kind of what happened. You know, that's what's going on over here on Goog. But I just want to reference right here. You pulled back, you found buyers. There's a break and retest off the previous highs, and then you had that second win. That's probably going to be how this, you know, Goog chart right here plays out. You get up to new highs, you pull back, and this is, you know, 3 to 4. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, you know, 4 to 5 weeks of consolidation out here. This is going to bring the next leg up. This is about to have a second win back up. All right, so I'm liking Goog. Come over here to Microsoft. This is another one that's waking back up, guys. This is 4 red weeks now, and you finally are having your first green week. You probably have more than one green week here that's going to pop up. So, you know, be expecting green next week. You're finally testing this and closing out right next to it at the 21 over here. This is where, you know, you got underneath it. You reject right here the short-term moving averages. You sold down to new low. You reject here the short-term moving average. You sold down to new low. Well, now you are standing nice and tall here, closing right underneath the 21, unlike these other times over here where you're just straight up rejecting. We close right under over here. Okay. Well, you're above it, but underneath the 9. Right here, guys, you get one day where you just close above it. Okay. Just close above, you know, 426 to 430 here. And yeah, this, or 427 to 430. This thing's going to probably start moving up. Maybe it dance around here. Maybe you get something like this, but this thing is probably going to start moving back up. This is about to start waking back up, in my personal opinion. All right, so those are the Mag 7 stocks over here, guys. We're going to finish it off with the NVDA over here. We'll transition into the chip stocks. You know, it's waking back up. This is what I was saying, guys. Either you're going to find buyers over here in the golden pocket on this most recent advance, which was in here, or you're going to come down to 130 and you're just going to start finding buyers again over here, where we started finding them over here. As you can see, we are starting to move back up. Weekly candle is really coming together over here. We have a big fat range, guys. Don't expect this range to just break down right now. It's probably not going to happen. If anything, you're at the bottom of it. Expect to return back to the mean, which is going to be around 140, 190. That resistance sitting up there. You know, I'm not saying you popped right back up to highs, but I definitely pointed out how on this daily chart, you know, guys, we normally don't come up here, make a slight new high, hit it with the double top and pull back and then break down. It's just not normally something we see. If you take out the high, like over here, it's a lower high compared to over here, and then you sold off. That makes perfect sense. Over here, it's a lower high, and over here, you sold off. Okay. But notice how the second you made this higher high compared to over here, the last, you know, real swing high over here, the clears they swing high here. See it on the weekly chart too. All right. Notice how that was the beginning of the end for that trend that was going down. All right. That was when you had the higher low over here on the weekly chart, and then you came back up, and then you started moving up. Well, guys, at the weekly chart, you're pretty trendless right now. Okay, like, you know, you just popped up to a new high. I mean, you're technically in an uptrend here. This is a slight high compared to over here, and then you popped up. You didn't make a lower low yet, so you're still just, but we'll call you trendless. You're just sitting in a range. So, you know, don't expect this range to just resolve itself. The chart is still in a weekly uptrend over here. This is kind of just one big break and retest from where you broke out from over here. So that's NVIDIA, guys. Above 136.38, you don't really have much until you come all the way back up here to 140, 190. But I do think there's probably a move that's about to happen. Okay? And if you want a resistance level underneath there, you watch 140.27. Okay? AMD, you're waking back up today. Again, something on the weekly chart that is waking up over here. All right, give us a solid close. You're probably at least not going to sell next week. That's good. But if the overall market is going to be moving back up, it's going to be moving back up. Nothing to really talk about over here, guys. You're at the weekly 9, not the weekly 9, the daily 9. Get above 121.83. Next resistance is going to be up there at 127.51. And you have 132.11. That's pretty much it. You got the bullish divergence here on the daily RSI. Probably going to start turning around. That's my thoughts on it. TSM over here, guys. Don't expect this to be all she wrote. You just had, months of consolidation here and you broke out from that. That is over 2 months. That's 2.5 months of consolidation. You broke out from that. You pull back into that. Expect buyers to step back into the equation over here. I know it looked pretty ugly, to start off the week, but we talked about this before it actually took place in extensive detail there in the weekly update. It was an 1.5 hour long video. We don't usually make those. But I have been sick, so I wanted to really cover this and get it down coming into the following week. And I think we definitely did so. We were very prepared to take advantage of that situation. Over here in MU, guys, the big level to watch for is 106.74. If you can get above there, I think you start really heading towards all the way up here at 130, 129, which is the 0.618 fib from this whole move down from up here. All right, up here, all the way down over here, okay? Well, right over here, okay? So 106.74 really is the level that's going to be the key to that. That is where the 0.786 fib is. So if you could take that out, you probably start heading up to this resistance level up here, okay? And, to really mark out this chart in an accurate manner so we could see this, we're just going to make a supply zone here in between 112.04 and 114.80. But I do think you're probably going to make your way up here to 112.04 to 114.80 in the short term if 106.74 is taken out. Now that you're above over here, your support is going to be 178. And then you have the high of the candlestick before at 97.41. Okay, and again, we're going to mark out a new zone right there. Okay, coming over to ARM, guys. This is actually something showing the most strength right now out of all the chips, surprisingly. But I do think it's waking up here. It is waking up. You didn't necessarily, you hit it with the false breakout over here, but as you can see, this thing kind of just you expanded. Yeah, this thing's queuing up for a bigger move. You can clear as they see it. I thought it was going to come over here. It did not. It came down to new low. But take out 156.40. This thing's really going to start moving. I do think this thing really is going to start moving. You have a crap ton of range here. You break above right here, and then you break above 164.16, guys. This thing could move up to new highs for all I care. Okay, for all I think, actually, that's probably what would happen. Okay, and that's pretty much it over here on ARM, guys. AV to the go, lagging so hard down here. Really not doing much of anything. On the weekly chart, it really doesn't look all that bad. You want to put in a green candlestick, a solid looking candlestick to close out the week, and that gets you ready for, maybe you start heading back up to the highs. Because over here on the daily time frame, you're really doing a whole lot of nothing. And until it starts moving, there's not much to talk about over here. Above 230.24, you don't really have anything until all the way up here at 241.75. Above there, you have 247.28 and then 251.88. Bitcoin, guys, wake it back up. I like what I'm seeing over here on the weekly time frame. I do think if you close out the week like this is probably setting you up for, either you continue this, but it's definitely looking more like this is all bullish consolidation before this next move. So either continue the bullish consolidation over the coming weeks, or you are going to start moving back up the highs and get ready for that next move up. I do think, some of these things are really setting up. MSTR is setting up to go with that. I actually put it on your radar. Right before it started taking off, it was right here. I just, I thought it was going to come down just a little bit lower to the perfect spot, which is right here at 276.70. Well, 270, we'll just call it 275, all the way down to 267.89. It was the perfect spot. It was where I, had this green circle here at one point in time. It was sitting right down there. Okay, we did not get down there, but if you did get down there, you'd have the daily RSI sitting down at the spot where it's been bouncing back for every time over the past few years. Well, maybe past year and a half over here, it's been bouncing back, and we definitely had, what looked like a pretty clean setup here to bounce back from. You would have had the weekly 21 sitting down there. Now you can see how well this weekly chart is coming together. It looks like it's probably getting ready for a larger move back up. Okay. You're moving down, you consolidate, you have that little leg down, you consolidate. Well, you're not having a leg down now, you're now pushing back up the highs. Take out 380.302. I think you can start pushing up to 437.61. Okay, come over to coin. I also think this is one that's setting up over here. As you can see where I had my arrow, I did think we were going to come lower. You did not come lower. You did not make it easy. In the market, guys, it's really never easy. So don't expect it to always get it perfect. Just don't do it. Okay. But it does look like the bottom is probably in over here on Bitcoin if this can close out the week with how it's looking right here. So coin guys, look for that move up to 300. I think it is incoming in the short term, as long as Bitcoin can hold / continue moving up over there. Mar over here, guys, you got the bullish divergence over here on the daily time frame. Really what you're paying attention to over here on Mara, though, is 2059. Get above 2059. That is when it starts probably heading back up here to 2230. You can expect that move to happen in the short term, but then also look for a move here up to 25. That is where you have your golden pocket from this whole most recent move down. Okay, so that is Mara. We'll look at CLSK. Double bottom action right there. Break above 1150. I'm just going to clean up this chart real quick. We'll just take off everything right over there. We'll keep those on right there. Okay. What are you going to be watching if you keep get above 1150, guys? Watch for move all the way back up here. In reality, this is going to be a measured move kind of thing we could do right here. $2.14. We'll just kind of, look for $2 right over here, somewhere over here, guys. It's coming up to 1350. That is going to be the measured move over here on CLSK. So I do think break above 1150 over here. Look for a move up to 1332 in the short term. Riot, guys, this is one of the better looking ones right now. I just have a messy chart going on over here. We'll just take off everything. There you go, buddy. But you can see on the weekly chart, these things are really setting up to move back in. Been consolidating for a very long time. If Bitcoin moves back on up the highs, guys, these right now are participating very well in Bitcoin's movement. We can see a move to the new highs over here on these guys too. I'm not talking about these highs over here, but what we just saw, I think this is consolidation before that next little move here. We could see Riot come up to 18 bucks, 18, 20 bucks in this next move. We'll see. I'm not going to be playing them, guys. I like sticking to the Mag 7 stocks most of the time. But outside of the Mag 7 stocks, this is what I'm really paying attention here and considering on taking a position on tomorrow. All right, you got that. And then I'm considering adding more Tesla in the form of TSLL tomorrow. So I can lock in, I'm already going to lock in a really big payday. It could be a really, really, really big payday. If I really want to kind of double down on this thing because it's just looking so freaking beautiful. I think this thing is probably going to see this move to new highs over the coming days over here, guys. Really, this is top watch for me right now. You have the fresh double bottom breakout. And if you're having trouble seeing what I'm pointing out there with the double bottom, all right, you're going to have these two lows right there. Those are your two lows. And you have your neckline right here. That is making this up. But, you can see on the weekly time frame, it's a really clean look. And we have the inauguration literally coming up beginning of next week. We're probably going to see this thing push into new highs next week. This was, what I've been pointing out. It was kind of the easiest play. We had this, but, ideally it was going to pull back into the event and then rally into the event. We pointed this out well in advance, and now it is kind of taking place. And, I think it's time to, go big on this guy over here. This thing looks like we're going to have a really nice move up here at two highs over the coming days. I have already looked at premiums, guys, for February calls over here. You are going to be, let's look at it this way. When I looked at it the other day, you get up to new highs with March. I think it was somewhere in this candlestick right over here. We'll still call it the high over here. Move to new highs right up here. Get the 490 bucks. March calls, you're sitting at about 100% gain. All right, February, you were sitting at 150 to 200% gain. All right, from coming like right over here, 407 ish up to 490. But as of right here, guys, TSLL February calls here, we're talking, break above 30.33. That's your double bottom neckline, same as Tesla over there. Above there, guys, you're probably going to move up to 36.86 in the short term, and then 41.50. Okay, February calls run, I think it's like over 120% if this thing pushes to new highs. But even over here, you're gonna be sitting up still like 70-80% on those. I think this is a move that's probably going to take place over the coming trading sessions. Okay. So let's talk about it. And if this thing does close up any higher than what it is currently, guys, this is really definitely setting up for that next wind over here out of Tesla. I know that's TSLL, but it's the same chart as over here. Just this one, you can clearly see this just broke out over here. Maybe it keeps consolidating for a little bit, but in reality, this thing looks like it wants to push up to new highs. That's very obvious to me. Meta eventually it's going to be moving up the highs, but this thing's clear as they troll. This might be making the troll list after what I have, just had to sit through recently. Yeah, honestly, it's not been the cleanest price action over here out of Meta. I feel like, most of all of these times have not been the cleanest price action to trade. Honestly, what I like trading mostly, I'll say Tesla, I'll say Apple, Amazon, Google. Microsoft's been good to me, but I'm not going to say the price actions they want. I like trading SPY, I like trading QQQ, and then NVDA. Those are really the main tickers that I like to stick to. I trade IWM and DIA sometimes, but DIA is also on that troll list. Does not really have the cleanest price action with the other indices. And I was actually looking at premiums the other day, and February calls, guys, coming into CPI, taking them at the close over here, coming, on this move. I didn't check, but you're probably still up well over 50% on this move. If you want, you can literally just swing like March calls a bit more. Okay. If you bring in them, I think I looked at them down here on this day, March calls, they still go around 100% if you move up the highs. It's just you're catching a bigger move. Like, you could see Amazon right over here. If NASDAQ gets up to new highs, SPY gets up to new highs, this thing's probably going to be like higher. Okay. So, these things they're just going to move more. But if you really want to keep things simple in your trading, you can actually just trade the indices and you could make some real solid money on some 2 to 3 month out options contracts, pretty much around the clock. You can swing the absolute crap out of these things. And, I'm just throwing out the idea there because I honestly thought about it. It's like, why aren't you just trading the things you cover? Like, why don't you just trade these things? This is what everything else is dragging. But, at the end of the day, it's because, those other, first of all, every stock has their own like little, behavior, their own personality. Like Tesla's got a crazy personality. I love trading Tesla. Once it gets going, it gets going. The thing likes to get freaking crazy. The guy gets crazy when he starts to go bananas. Okay. He really, lights a fuse, and then he goes nuts for a few weeks at a time. All right. And it lets you, really just make a lot of freaking money every time this thing wants to have, a nice move. Okay. Well, that's not the same over here on something like Google over here. I've seen this thing move sideways more than up or down for a while. It's kind of been the same over here on Amazon. It's actually been really good over here once you broke out of your consolidation. All right. But as you can see, like it's these slow moves. You look at something like Tesla. Do you see slow moves? I don't see slow moves on this chart. I see a lot of violent, move down and up. I see a lot of violent moves over here because of different personalities. I like trading something like this. All right. But you come over here, you just see SPY and QQQ. You got the best of both worlds over here. Okay. So, it's always an option. Just trade the indices. All right, guys. But to sum things up, VIX over here looking like it wants to probably continue crushing. If it bounces, okay, look for, selling over here off of the short-term moving average. That's going to be around like 17 to 17.50. All right. So 17 to 18 bucks, we'll say if you bounce back to. I'll look for sellers stepping over here on VIX. On the indices, SPY's just got to break above 594.50, and that is going to be looking real good. Just a reminder, guys, this thing's still only at 29. It was at 26 this morning before that happened. And we know that when it gets low, it's time to buy. That is pretty much it. You do not look for the thing to keep falling off a cliff if that thing is already down there in fear, and definitely in extreme fear territory. And then you start looking for things on the chart to pair that with. And we clearly as day have been seeing things on the chart to pair that with. And, because things are set up to really, start that rally, to start that next move up. Okay. Like, I'm serious. Just look at this Goog chart. Like, you could see what I see. Just give me a solid weekly close. And this really sets us well for the next 1 to 2 weeks. I think this would be very nice. All right. Give us these closes. And VIX just got crapped on. Okay, and then we at least can get this next week here of solid upside over here on the indices. Okay. All right. With that being said, guys, I hope y'all enjoyed the video. I'm sorry I did not make a video yesterday. But, I really knew we just had CPI coming up. And it was either, I didn't want to make any crazy calls. And then for this thing just to, do whatever I wanted. I, of course, was biased to the upside because of everything I just spoke about. But you know, at the end of the day, I don't know what's going to happen with these events. That's why I said in Monday's video, you know, we don't know what's really going to happen in these things. Maybe it was in yeah, it was in Monday's video. You know, if anybody tells you they know what's gonna, you know, be the outcome of these, yeah, they're lying. They don't know. All right, they're completely guessing. Maybe they've convinced themselves, but you know, that's not really how to go about things. You just got to go with the roll with the punches, and you got to adjust as you go. Okay, if you're, you know, if you're a trader and you're a swing trader, you kind of just adjust when you get new information. Okay, that's kind of the name of the game. You just continuously are kind of moving your money around as you get the new information. That is the name of the game. And right now, the information is telling us downside is freaking limited, and we're probably going to be moving up. And what happened starting today? You started moving up. Okay, give us these weekly closes. Things are going to start looking a lot better. Okay, with that being said, I will catch y'all in the next one. Everybody have a lovely rest of their day, and peace.